What? Why are you shaking your head?
You're welcome.
Hey, what is going on, guys? It's Ryan Heath here with Fantasy Points, and we are back for yet another playoff best ball stream tonight. I would call the response to our first show earlier this week overwhelmingly positive. Sounded like a lot of you found it really useful for your own drafts, so we had to run it back tonight. I'm joined once again by Jakob Sanderson of Dynasty Points and Thinking About Thinking fame, and we had to bring in a new guest as well, introducing Daniel Rax, a heavyweight in the gambling space who's done some great playoff best ball content over at Legendary Upside as well. Daniel, how's it going, man? Talk to me.
It's good. I mean, some are saying that the 97 finals with MJ was like the greatest flu game of all time, but I'm going to try and beat that here tonight and hopefully ship a winner to the Gauntlet or Mitten 3.
That's why I said we're exclusively drafting bigger Mitten 2, and Scott's paying for all the entries. I don't know if anyone else got that memo, but that was that was my
memo. I will send that. I will, you know what? Yeah, I'll deposit live on stream. I will send that invoice over to Scott right now. I'm sure he's listening. Yeah, he'll know that's coming. Yeah, that's exactly what we'll do. But yeah, Daniel, I feel you. I'm also a little bit under the weather. So Jacob, you can be the one.
I feel great. I
don't know how, Jacob, you might be the only person.
Got a nice tall glass poured. I got the vape pen rolling. We're ready to rock tonight. We're filling this gauntlet up.
Yeah, imagine just putting things into my lungs that aren't oxygen right now. I'm fighting to even get that in there at this point. But yeah, without further ado, let's fire up a gauntlet before it gets. Oh no, don't do me like this. Come on,
Ryan.
That's rough. Ryan. No. I did everything right, Jacob. I tested before the stream. I made sure my location was going to work. Okay.
All right, try a quick refresh, but I will mess that up on the alternate if we need to.
Yes, please. That would be great.
I think this is just the underdog gods. They know we're going to draft the winner and are trying to make it as difficult as possible.
Yeah, they're trying to stop us, man. Okay, we got in. Before it filled. It was close. And we're in another draft with Neil Orfield, player Q here at the 101.
Do you think he what would you say the odds are between he knows we're streaming or he just does nothing all day except for live inside the gauntlet?
He's been doing nothing but tweet about the gauntlet all day today. So I'm gonna go with Neil's been
lives
24/7, no life grinding the gauntlet.
Okay. This actually looks like a really nice draft room full of people that I expect to do normal things. So here we go.
I don't know.
Neil's in the chat. Neil's in the chat.
Okay. How's it going, Neil? I had not even pulled up chat. Very professional here. Good to see you, Neil. Thanks for coming in.
Daniel, who's your, assuming that Josh and Lamar go 1-2, we kind of were at a bit of a loss, I think, as to what we tend to do at the 1-3. What's your go-to at the 1-3, Daniel?
At this point in the market, I don't want to be that much different than 16, 17% on any of them. So I'll probably defer to Hurts most of the time, but I'm very flexible. It's a bad spot.
You're a coward. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. Are we going to force Jacob to draft a Hurts team?
You can do a Hurts team. We can do a Hurts team. That's fine.
You just always.
I've taken some Hurts.
Okay. I thought you were ideologically Lamar or bust or a running back, but
I would say that I draft, I would say 90% of my round one picks are Lamar, Henry, or Mahomes. But I mix in some Hurts and some Gibbs.
Okay. Let's see what we get coming back here. I don't know. AJ Brown would be nice. I'm not even going to queue up Saquon. I'm not going to even entertain the idea that it'll actually happen. Has not happened to me yet.
I take Hurts. So most of the time that I take Hurts is when he falls. Because if he falls to 5 or 6, I always snap him because then there's a better chance of getting him with Henry or with Barkley, which I just think is an infinitely better version of that team. But I think that it is totally fine. I've made the argument that actually the optimal pick instead of AJ Brown here is James Cook, because I think you then get out of being in this running back range. But I don't know how you think about that, Daniel.
Yeah, Daniel, break the tie for me.
I'd go AJ, but
Okay.
no, just
All
playing
right,
the
I
foil
like
to
it.
everything Jacob says tonight.
So so when you go Hurts AJ, like what is your plan at running back at that point? Is it like to do the Pacheco Hunt stuff, or you go to Chargers?
If we can get Devonta Smith next, I think that's obviously great. And then I'm fine just being like, if it's an Eagles Chargers Super Bowl, confident we'll be live. Assuming we can make
I mean, you can always add a late Kareem Hunt too.
Yeah.
I think that both of you guys are more
up.
optimistic about the Chargers than I am in terms of like being an actual Super Bowl contender.
I mean, I feel like the spread I was tweeting about this earlier today. I don't know why it's only a 3-point spread in round one. I feel like this should be closer to like the Bills.
That's fine. You
Ravens
can sell me on
favorites.
the Chargers are winning round one without much of an issue. But like, what's the spread? Chargers at Chiefs, 8.5?
5.5 on FanDuel, I believe, in the hypo matchup.
Yeah.
I think so. And I mean, I defer to Vegas on all the hypothetical spreads. Like, I do not know better than everything they have on those at this point. But I just think that even though I think the Chargers are properly, if not a bit overrated, they're like 30-1 to win the Super Bowl on FanDuel.
Yeah.
I think that might be a little rich. I just think that you can capture awesome ways to like win with the Chargers if you play them here.
Do we want to add Chargers
do
to this?
here?
We can add Kelsey, which is a little tempting to me.
I would do one Chief here and then leave ourselves open to Chargers and Chiefs.
Agree.
I don't know how you feel about that.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's go ahead and draft Kelsey. I like that.
I would have done one or Kelsey or Worthy there and then come back with Lad, I think.
And then just hope we're in the 40% of matchups where we get the Broncos or Steelers winning round one.
Yeah. I mean, even if you lose one in round two, it's not the end of the world. Paul's asking why I don't have much Gibbs. So the reason for that is like in part structural, where I just don't like taking Gibbs at 3 or 4 because you get into the spot where like you can take Mahomes, which is fine. Well, let's do our picks here.
We can just do that here, I think.
Are we sure we don't want to go Goddard?
You do Goddard? I'd be fine with Goddard.
Because the other two teams have an AFC flag plan.
Yeah, Neil's going to take Goddard from us.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do Goddard.
We can go Goddard here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just injecting 4.5 half PPR points into our round one lineup.
Yeah, exactly. Feels good. Basically, the reason is I've been taking more Gibbs lately because I think if there's more reliable drafters drafting right now and where you can push Goff into the third round, it's just that you get these like issues where if you get the Gibbs Amon-Ra team and then Goff goes before your next pick, you're kind of toast. And then also, I mean, the big thing is I just play the Ravens a lot and I play the Vikings a lot and I don't play the Lions as much.
Yeah, I mean, we watch what happens when I click Gibbs in round one on the last.
Gibbs at 3. Gibbs at 3 is tough because you can get really fucked at quarterback. Gibbs at 4 or 5, I think, is a lot better.
Yeah, very much agreed. I think we'll get Lad here, so we'll get kind of everything we asked for.
What's Dobbins ADP? 37. So we should, in theory, get both, right?
I think so.
Yeah, and once we take Lad, greatly disincentivizes the room.
Yeah, I mean, the room sometimes tells you where you can stick it, but hopefully.
This room's been fairly kind to us so far, I would say. Let's see.
I remember the last time when we planted the Lad flag on our Monday stream, and then we had a person immediately take Dobbins and QJ. So they didn't pay attention to our flag. They disrespected our flag, but hopefully this room will be nicer.
Yeah, I think it's only the sickos that are in here drafting at the very end of the gauntlet to get that last 5% squeezed out of it. Like all the fish are gone. We're just letting each other take our stacks tonight.
Daniel, I know you're saying you're being like a 16.7% coward in round one. To the extent you have courage, where does that manifest? Like, are there takes that you have on this year's playoff tournament and playoff best ball?
I think the Chargers set up really nicely to just get all of them and capture. Like, if the Chargers do well, you can feel comfortable that that's a way to play it. I haven't done as much volume this year as last year, being out of the drafting range for a prime amount and schoolwork in the end of the fall sim. The Bills are a very nice optionality team. Like getting Allen, I think I would pick the Bills to beat the Ravens. I don't know what that spread would be. I assume Bills like -2.5.
The look ahead line is 1.
Okay, so I'll defer to that. But
we go Dobbins over
Yeah.
Pacheco here.
We
I
gotta go
think.
Dobbins. Yeah.
then we take a
Yeah,
Chiefs running
that's
back.
like the one. That is the one micro bet I'm making. And if that game doesn't go my way, which I mean, there's probably a 50% chance roughly that it doesn't go my way, then I just won't win playoff basketball this year. But I just think that the Ravens are better than the Bills at every single position group. And specifically, I just don't think that the Bills have any juice at linebacker. And I don't know how a team without any juice at linebacker is going to defend Henry and Jackson in read option.
This is the first time on a playoff basketball podcast I've heard someone tout linebacker play. So
I did like a whole section on the Bills linebackers and safeties and defending the Jackson Henry read option. I even included film clips, and I was like, I don't think this is going to go well for them. I guarantee you a more accurate summation of that would just be to look and say, I think we're going to need running back help more than anything.
I'm just.
Would you do Hunt or would you even go like?
We can't do
Even
Jacobs
take,
or
like,
Mixon. We
Jacobs?
can't.
Oh right, because we're fucked on both of those.
I'd go Hunt.
So Hunt.
Yeah.
Play the Chargers game to do all. Maybe tack on like Brian Robinson late.
Yeah.
Because
Love
the
me some Rob.
Commanders and Eagles are a nice one. Because if the Eagles and Commanders win, the Commanders are guaranteed to play the Lions. So hopefully getting.
And I think the
games.
Commanders
6
are
baby.
pretty live.
Yeah, you wrote in your nice article like what 3-point spread 3.5 that the market's just probably playing it like a 5.5 or 6.
Yeah, that was in the FFPC playoff challenge piece that I wrote up today.
Wow, that article went out like 2 hours ago, and Daniel's already read it. What a brown noser!
What an incredible
Email
incredible
notifications. Did the TL
I saw that hit my
LDR.
inbox, and I said, I am not reading that before the stream. Good luck, Jacob.
It was the
If you
fastest
have
article I've
anything to bring up
ever
on it,
written
you
because
can bring it up
I
yourself.
literally just took last year's FFPC playoff challenge article, and then I just edited it to make it applicable to the current format, which I didn't lie about. I was honest about that, but yeah, it was basically the same article. Input a few player takes.
The FFPC playoff challenge is like the greatest thought experiment where you're almost guaranteed to lose every single dollar you put in. I love thinking about it. I'm
really
confident my lineups are plus EV. Jacob and I built like 20 last year. It was like midnight.
We made a lot of plus EV lineups. They weren't plus V lineups though. Yeah.
No.
It was fun actually. Yeah, because that was when you were in England, right?
Yeah. So it was 6:30
So we had to find a
for me.
mutually agreeable time, and we did like 20 entries into the $35 at like probably like 1 a.m. for me and like 7 a.m. for you or something, which was fun.
I think we're what Robinson QJ.
That's probably the move, right? I mean, maybe we work in a Gainwell late,
So
but I think
QJ. Yeah,
I think
QJ.
I think
QJ
QJ first,
think
yeah, because
first.
we can go either Robinson
This-
or Gainwell.
Normally I'm a 1-3-6, but this team might have 1-4-5.
I don't know if we have Brian Robinson.
uses.
I guess with Gainwell, yeah, that would be a 1-4-5. But
Or we could do like we only have 2 Chiefs, right? We could do like a Noah Gray.
we could.
Yeah, I don't mind that actually.
Yeah.
I was getting
I might like that more than Gainwell.
was trying to queue up a Chief, but forgot about him.
Do you like Noah Gray more or Justin Watson?
Noah Gray. Touchdown odds.
Yeah.
Just it's gonna be like plus 270, plus 300 for Gray, plus 400, plus 500 for Watson.
All right.
So we go Gray, and then
I'd
We
probably
got to go Brian Robinson.
Sure.
Yeah.
yeah.
Brian Robinson is like actually quite crucial to this team, I think.
Yeah, Gray's like the best of the 1.5 projecting points Chiefs, but I'm fine
Yeah.
with a different 1.5 point projection if needed.
He kind of gets used on like their like shallow little trickery stuff sometimes
Yeah.
too. Like he is occasionally an actual part of their offense, which is more than you can say for a lot of these fringy guys.
They rotated enough guys. Well, this team kind of just went as we planned. Actually, I feel like we didn't get like soul crushingly sniped once on this draft. This was actually quite pleasurable.
Yeah, this was surprisingly low stress. Maybe the lowest stress draft I've done my entire time drafting this contest, which I appreciate. It's, two of us not feeling 100%. It's a nice, easy warm up. Thanks to everybody in this this draft.
Appreciate our fellow drafters.
Shout out Neil. Yeah,
we had time for Daniel to lay out every player take couched in Vegas player prop odds and or spreads, like a human computer. We had time for me to discuss the Bills linebacking unit. Oh, there goes Noah Gray.
Sniped on Noah Gray.
So would you go Gainwell, Justin Watson, or Juju?
You can't make me draft Justin Watson or Juju.
I had like 45% Justin Watson in the gauntlet last year, so let's run it.
Right. That's good. You could also do P. Ryan.
We did P. Ryan last stream, Jacob. Don't put your luck on that one.
That's true. We did do P. Ryan last stream. Yeah.
You talked me into that before. All right, just quick review of the team. We got Jalen Hurts, J.K. Dobbins, Kareem Hunt, Brian Robinson, A.J. Brown, Travis Kelce, Dallas Goedert, Ladd McConkey, Quentin Johnston, and Justin Watson. Look at that. I can't even count right now.
I like that team.
I like that team too. Nice balanced build.
Yeah, we got any Chiefs team is going to be hard to advance, so I don't think you necessarily need to have the best possible combination of Chiefs. And then if the Chargers make it to the Super Bowl, then that team's in a lovely position.
Yeah, I don't think they're that
on it, but
I don't think the Chargers are that crazy of a bet to beat the Chiefs, though. Jacob. No, I just want to run back to that. That's I've become such a fan of Jim Harbaugh during this season. Like that, I feel like this is just such a team that could go on a postseason run. Watching the Chargers this year compared to last year, and just how all of them act and how they perform in critical moments, it's just night and day.
They're gonna be. I think I understand that Vegas has odds and that those odds have value. I get it. Daniel will remind me of this all the time, but I think I'm hitting the power button on the PlayStation in the third quarter on Saturday afternoon. I think that the Chargers will be up by 21 points.
Yeah, I mean the odds for the Chargers to win the title are 28-1. The odds for the Texans are 100-1, and it's a pick 'em in the first round. So,
yeah,
Chargers alts should probably be in play.
Yeah, to be clear, when I say they'll be up by 21, they will only score 21. It's just that the Texans won't score any points at all.
Yeah,
we're back at the 6th seed.
We can say whatever you wanted to say, Jacob. I just want to make fun of the Texans because
make fun of the Texans. I had the least interesting comment possible. I was just saying what position we were drafting in for the audio listeners.
Yeah. All of the Texans team level offensive stats since week 11, since Nico Collins came back, all of them worse than the New England Patriots over that same span. Fun fact.
Is that good?
Yeah. If you ask Jacob, it's probably good because Drake May is a god or whatever, but it's no, I would say that's not encouraging. Drake May plus no actual NFL pieces on the offense, but
so we are close to hitting Nirvana here. If I can just not take Jalen Hurts.
Come on.
Would be really nice of him to give us Hurts plus either Barkley or Henry, but I don't imagine we're going to get that lucky. Yeah, he does take Hurts. So this is where the dumbest person in your draft takes Barkley and Henry. We're not going to do that. So to me, we either take Barkley and AJ Brown and we play for the Chargers.
That would be me.
Take Henry and Goff, or we take Henry and Jefferson. I usually go Henry and Jefferson, but I think any of those three options are totally fine.
I'd go double Eagles, but
okay, we can do that.
Yeah.
No, we can't because I don't have time to queue it up. Sorry.
Oh, all right, never mind. Do you prefer Goff or Jefferson then?
Jefferson.
Okay. This is the Jacob core starting here. This is now we're in my wheelhouse with Henry Jefferson.
Anytime you can just draft the top pass catcher to Daniel Jones as a 1-point favorite, at the 1-2 turn.
Well, it's going to be a 4-point favorite, I think, or a 3-point
With
favorite.
home?
Like, that game got moved to Phoenix.
Yeah, probably moves at 1 point.
Yeah. If the if the Vikings lose to the Rams, I'm going to be inconsolable. I really wish they had drawn the Bucks.
But if the Vikings beat the Rams, the Colts are going to give Sam Darnold a 4-year, $200 million contract and like a
No. I need the Vikings to go far enough that the Vikings retain Sam Darnold's services. So here's my thing too. This is we're going to get into real takes, right? So I'm from Winnipeg, so I consider myself kind of from Minnesota. Like we're the same geographical area. People from Minnesota, all old people that are from Minnesota, have winter homes in Arizona. Everyone in LA is like, obviously, unfortunately, going through a disaster right now. So I bet that game is going to be like 80% Vikings crowd in Phoenix. Like I bet it's all of the snowbirds who are 70 years old and retired, who have retirement homes in Scottsdale, are lining up to go to that game and do this. So I think that's going to be a home game for the Vikings.
Would it have been that different though if it were in LA? Like
slightly.
Like 60% instead of 80% Vikings fans?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so we can get Aaron Jones here, hopefully.
So Andrews is gone, right? But Bateman and Flowers are still there. So yeah, I think is there any reason to not do Jones and Bateman?
Is Worthy a thought of just adding a few live Chiefs or no?
Oh yeah, that's actually a good idea.
Yeah.
Jones and Worthy. Yeah, I like
Jones
that.
Worthy.
Sure.
Jacob, do we feel any different about Zay Flowers now that the ADP is actually dropping? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I like clicking him more now that the thing that we all knew was going to happen is now actually priced into his ADP. So yes, I'm definitely more interested.
I feel like in actual drafts, it generally was, even like 3 days ago. Like I said, I wasn't having much trouble getting him.
I've always been fine with
Zay
Flowers because if I'm playing the Ravens to the Super Bowl, I'm not really that concerned about his week 1 or frankly even his week 2 availability. My issue with Flowers was he shouldn't be drafted ahead of Bateman, and then you have to be really careful if you're taking Flowers on Ravens Lions builds. But on a Ravens Vikings build or a Ravens Eagles build, I'm pretty willing to put him on my team.
So and mute the stream before I do such things.
So apparently the spread has already gone from, I think it was 1 or 1.5. It's gone to 2.5 now. That's a bet I would still make, I think. But I don't know. I watched Nosferatu instead of the Sunday night game. So my vibes on the Vikings are still very strong. Everyone else was subjected to apparently a very bad Vikings performance.
How'd you find it? I saw it yesterday.
Like it.
I also did not like it. I like the original.
I thought it was kind of campy. I thought that the guy who, I forget his actual name, but the guy who played Friedrich, I thought was just doing too much. At one point he turned to the camera and he was like, "Where the devil are you, Thomas?" And I laughed my ass off uncontrollably in the theater. People were staring at me.
Yeah. I didn't care for Aaron Taylor Johnson's performance. I thought Bill Skarsgård as Orlok was awesome and the design was really good, innovative off the 1922. But the movie just did not have me. Saw in a pretty empty theater with my roommate yesterday afternoon. Was quite upset.
Before we get back into your movie takes, which I really do want to get, is this a Flowers Darnold, I think?
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out if we trust with Darnold, but
with Addison.
Oh, there goes Flowers. That sucks. So is it Darnold? Would we pull up Likely Yet or Hollywood maybe? Darnold Hollywood?
Yeah.
How much better is Hollywood than Hopkins for us?
Not much.
I think not a ton.
I'd probably go Hawk then. The team with Addison.
Okay.
We're not getting Hawk back, and that's a player in both matchups.
Let's do Hawk.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your I know you're the biggest movie fan in fantasy Twitter. What's your best movie of the year so far?
The Brutalist. It is. Seen it twice already. It's coming to DC.
Right, because you live in fucking New York.
Well,
Yeah.
in DC now, but it's coming to DC tomorrow.
Oh.
Might see it a third time. This is just like the film of films.
Where did you see it?
In New
Did
York.
you go to New York for it?
Yeah.
So I The Brutalist comes to Vancouver tomorrow. I'm going on Sunday. I'm about as excited to see that movie as I've ever been to see a movie. Like the A24 campaign has worked on me. The like, you can't see this movie that everybody says is good has worked on me. But since I haven't seen it yet, my favorite movie thus far has been Anora.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's like, for me, it's The Brutalist, A Real Pain, Sing Sing, His Three Daughters, Anora, and Dune as my favorites of the year, and Nickel Boys, directed by George.
And I mean, obviously, my actual favorite movie of the year is Wicked, but I understand that it's not a good movie. I just like that, like, target audience me. So I watched it 4 times and I enjoyed it extensively. I also think it would be a travesty if it like won Best Picture, but I enjoyed it.
As someone deeply invested in The Brutalist and Anora at like Best Picture wins at plus 250, really hope it does not. But I think it's between them and Emilia Perez, but that would be a travesty for like 5 different reasons.
Yeah, I think Emilia Perez is kind of bad.
It is. It's not kind of bad. It's a terrible film.
So, yeah, I don't understand. Don't understand what's
did
with that.
hit on a bunch of globes betting it to win.
Nice.
So a lot of my playoff best ball bankroll is like shifted onto Globes and Oscars stuff, so I'm trying to balance both. But back to the playoff best ball. I think
hashtag call the number
and Hopkins.
Yeah.
Like, I spent 2 hours researching the Globes and got a 40% ROI. So
nice. Very good stuff.
I feel like this is such an odd experience for me because I feel like I'm right back in a call talking to Scott Barrett and Jake Trivy because they're the 2 biggest like film bros that I know, and this is I've just
not in the way we usually
back
meet
into the same
podcast,
exact.
By the way.
yeah, sorry. Yeah, the film movie bros, I guess. Yeah, actually, that's important to clarify there.
But
yeah, I just have no like understanding of movies. I think the last movie I saw in a theater was Oppenheimer a year and a half ago or whatever.
That was a great film.
I've just never been able to kind of get that. But
is The Brutal better than Oppenheimer or worse than Oppenheimer in your learning?
As someone that did not love Oppenheimer, like, I recognize it's good, but not in the true upper echelon for me. So it's The Brutalist, The Zone of Interest, and Past Lives are probably the best ones of the past 24 months for me. But I know you don't like Past Lives, so we don't really need to.
I don't like Past Lives, and I know that it's a bad take. Like it bothers me a lot that I don't like that movie because every person whose opinion on movies I value and trust loves Past Lives. So like I went into Past Lives expecting to like it, wanting to like it. I even watched it a second time, like trying to see, and it's like I acknowledge that it's good. It's just clearly not for me. But like I take that as my own personal failing. I don't put that on the movie.
Mm-hmm. But if anyone needs a like betting slant on the Oscars, I think Demi Moore to win Best Actress at plus 200 is a really strong bet. So if anyone has,
I think so too, but I will be very upset if that happens. I think that Mikey Madison was the best actress this year, but
I think so as well. But after hitting on Demi 20-1 at the Globes, I think it's just going to keep going into a sweep.
Yeah, I could see it. And the Academy loves doing that stuff. Anyway, sorry to the audio listeners for the Oscars bets, or not sorry if that was what you were looking to get out of this podcast.
This is a good
we
team.
Had Jacob's film corner on the Bills linebackers. This is Daniel's film corner on Demi Moore. Yeah, this you can tell it we're getting all the players we want because we've been able to talk about the Oscars for the last 10 minutes.
Just no conflict at all in this draft.
Wow, Reem Hunt all the way back to us. Thank you.
And then Naylor,
right? Yeah. I queued up Daniels in case we wanted to go for like the additional round 1 advanced rate boost. But
are you a Naylor or are you a Wallace or an Aguilar? I guess Naylor. We're most committed to Vikings.
Yeah, Naylor is easily the best of that grouping. So we got
Not a single username on Underdog has a higher exposure to Nelson Aguilar than yours truly, but so I always have to put him on the board.
All right, we got Sam Darnold. Go ahead. Continue your conversation. And then
were you upset about the healthy scratch last week, or you think it's nothing?
I think it's nothing, but I have been mixing in Tylan Wallace.
You're a big Tylan Wallace guy, though. You probably have 5-year-old tweets on him.
I do. I can't find them because Elon Musk has made Twitter an unsearchable hellscape. But somewhere out there in the world, I do have 5-year-old Tylan Wallace tweets. Yeah, I remember when he scored that touchdown, and I tried for like 10 to 15 minutes to find my old Tylan Wallace tweets, and it just wasn't being very successful. But if he comes through for me in the playoffs, I will look back and grab them again.
All right, just to recap, team: Sam Darnold, Derrick Henry, Aaron Jones, Kareem Hunt, Justin Jefferson, Xavier Worthy, TJ Hawkinson, Isaiah Likely, DeAndre Hopkins, Jalen Naylor. That feels like a very strong team to me. I really like this team
a ton.
Yeah.
I mean, it does depend on the Vikings making the Super Bowl, but what are their current odds? Computer? Do you have those?
I'll check, but
I think they're 12. I think they're better than the Chargers, actually. Last I checked.
Oh, for sure, they got to be better than the Chargers.
You say for sure as if that's like, well, I guess they're
the Chargers are like a pretty distant fourth in the AFC. I think the Vikings are clearly third in the NFC.
Yeah, 13-1 to win the title on FanDuel versus 28-1 for the Chargers.
Okay, there we go. 13-1. Sounds good. We are at the 102 now, which means that we get to draft the best player in football, potentially.
Jacob, have I heard your MVP opinion?
Oh, I don't really have an MVP opinion. Like, if I had a vote, I would vote for Lamar Jackson. But I think that Josh Allen is like clearly a deserving MVP winner, and I expect that he will win it. And I'm not going to be like upset about it.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on like it's the thing that we argue about every year on the internet the most that I just give the least shits about, honestly.
Yeah, like Lamar's my favorite football player of all time. Like I'm way more invested in him winning the Super Bowl this year than I am in him winning a third MVP. Like I don't really care if he wins an MVP. I would like him to I would like him to prove the doubters and the haters and the Daniels wrong in this year's playoffs. But like him winning a third MVP or not is like very whatever to me. Like him and Allen are both like clearly deserving MVP candidates in a given year.
Yeah, I think like if you were to look at their careers through 6 or 7 years, Lamar with 2, Allen with 1 seems right. But I think this year Lamar undeniably should be the MVP. So just balancing that as a voter.
I wish we could go back in time, give Allen last year's MVP, and then give Lamar this year's MVP, but we can't. So if we want to do that, if we want to like give Martin Scorsese the best picture for The Departed, then it's like, okay, sure, Josh Allen can win MVP this year.
I do kind of hate how that's like the conversation is like, what can we do to make it the most fair? Like there are people out there who
blame.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, because wokeness has taken over the MVP voting. There are people genuinely suggesting that they split it and give it to both of them. Have you guys seen any of this?
My suggestion is that we just give it to whoever wins the second round playoff matchup. That would be way more fun.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong.
We're 15 seconds away, potentially.
So, yeah, Amon-Ra would be a treat. But I think
Paul says don't take Jefferson this time.
Oh, we got Amon-Ra.
Well,
yeah.
I think we'll take Amon-Ra then.
Easy game.
Yeah.
I should not have zoomed this in this much. I can't even operate this screen like this.
I assume you guys are with me that like in the spot where you take a Lamar plus Amon-Ra or Allen plus Amon-Ra, that like you're pretty willing to be very aggressive on drafting David Montgomery.
Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of have to be, unfortunately.
So I would be I usually take Andrews in the spot just because he doesn't have the vibe, but Jameson's fine too.
I'd go Andrews.
I prefer Andrews here, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll prioritize Montgomery on the next turn, most likely.
Yeah, Bateman Montgomery would be really nice.
Can you go to the board view while we're waiting between picks, just so we can see what our opponents are doing?
Yeah, let's do it.
That both gives us valuable information and opportunities to make fun of bad drafters.
Where do you think
Such
Goff
as
goes?
the 5-hole, who has 0% chance to win this tournament.
Where do you think Goff goes on this board?
That's a good question. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes to the 6, if 6 is kind of out to lunch.
4, 5, and 6 are pretty weak here.
I mean, 6 is in a totally fine position.
Yeah.
But 4 and 5 are dead. Yeah, like 6 needed to
6
not
can
take
click
Puka
order
there.
here.
6 needed to learn Chargers real fast, or 4. Sorry, 4 needed to learn Chargers. 6 is doing fine. 5 is wandering in the desert, like
Going for the rainbow.
Yeah.
Oh,
there goes Goff.
Yeah. So
Damn.
5 is button mashing, respectfully.
No, 5 has his draft open in like a 4th tab that he hasn't looked at.
5 is like where I wish
10
Sacrilegious
minutes.
was on the podcast, just to like say mean things about Team 5.
So who do we want to prioritize here?
Who's behind us? What do they have?
Let's see. Is anyone likely? They have
Allen,
Jefferson,
and
Evans.
I think we go Montgomery.
So I think we just go Montgomery.
Yeah.
He's the one that would be the most crushing to lose for sure. I mean, in theory, it's a Josh Allen team behind us. They shouldn't be clicking Ravens. I don't know if theory has much application to them, but
I guess they go Bucky Jones.
that would be the
Wow.
smart thing to do. There you go.
Look at that.
Rational drafting. Yeah, let's shoddy B here.
Yep. And then we'll have to learn Brian Robinson again, I assume.
Oh, that's fine. He's been learned. Well, we could learn Josh Jacobs on this team too, because we don't have Eagles. Is anyone with me on Packers win this weekend? Is that just my own little like
As
prior
someone-
lock island?
Yeah, it's definitely my prior luck as well, with tickets on Chiefs Packers to make the Super Bowl at like 50-1. So really hoping that happens, but I don't know. It seems like they don't want to move past like the 1970s and how they play offense.
Yeah, like that. Watching that Packers Vikings game was just like demoralizing, both as like a person who needed that game to have 80 combined points to win a few more dynasty leagues, and also as a person who is stocked up with Packers futures. Just like deplorable stuff, as they were just like force feeding early down carries to Josh Jacobs down 17.
Yeah. The best thing that can happen for the Packers' chances this weekend is the Eagles go up 14-0 in like the first 5 minutes of the game.
No, it's
Then-
not.
then
They
there's a
don't care.
chance.
They've proven that they don't care. Like they're gonna play as though they're up 14, whether they're up 14 or down 14. So I would rather them just be up 14. like they are going to establish the run no matter what until it's basically mathematically impossible to win. So they may as well just lead. The one thing is like I just maintain that Jalen Hurts kind of sucks. So I still think that the Eagles are a bit of a house of cards.
There is no quarterback better at running to the right and throwing it out of bounds unnecessarily and preemptively in the NFL. It's like 20% of their passes.
Just everything that the Eagles do to me is kind of like it just feels like it's kind of a spam. Like it's like they have this quarterback who's not very good, but he's like good at a couple of distinct things.
Laporta.
Wow, we're really getting
I
gifted stuff.
I kind of want to go
gotta
Laporta
Sammy
Jacobs.
football, right?
Yeah.
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 And then we have to try and get some.
Jacobs, I think Flowers.
I think it was Laporta
We-
first. I'm good. Jacobs next. If we.
Oh,
round
I
one.
was definitely Laporta first. It's
Yeah.
just between Jacobs and Flowers here.
I'd go Jacobs.
I don't
and
know.
Take a Raven after.
All right, we can do
we need some
Jacobs.
points.
Sure, let's do Jacobs.
Yeah. Let's get some points in the
And then
running
if
back spot.
anyone has an inkling on the one Packers receiver to eclipse double digits, we can add that.
I mean, like The
I
Cope
felt I
answer
have to
obviously
say
is Reed or Wicks, but the real answer is Romeo Dobbs.
I wrote up all of the Packers receivers for DFS today, and I have to say I felt disingenuous talking about, yeah, these are like their splits without Christian Watson, and this is what they did in those games where they used to actually throw the ball. If that happens, then great. That was like the entire blurb.
I don't love Jaden Reed against Cooper DeJean.
I mean, technically, I don't either. By the numbers, Eagles have been much tougher against outside wide receivers this year than against the slot. But I hear you.
In theory, I feel like their weakest. Like if I was just to think, like I don't know the numbers as well as you do, but just in terms of how I'd think of the Eagles defense, like I mean, schematically they funnel everything inside. It's a Fangio defense. But Reed isn't like a traditional slot in the sense that he's like a chain mover. Like he's more of a explosive slot. And then if I just think of like who is the worst player in the Eagles secondary, to me that's like outside CB2, not like Quinion obviously rocks. And then you have White Mamba in the slot.
So is it Darius Slay? Darius Slay is the worst in their secondary. He's still their CB2, right? I might be telling on myself for not.
I'm gonna tell myself here. I don't know who.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Darius Slay.
I think it's Slay, but that would definitely be the guy I'm least afraid of. Which obviously this is just how I talk myself into Dontavian Wicks. Anyway, this is
time for us to learn Dontavian Wicks. Yeah, this is clearly Flowers right? To me. Yeah,
and if this team makes it through,
I know, right? Like this is a fucking team here.
The EV on this team when it finishes 6 out of 6 is just going to be through the roof.
So we have how many lines? We have three by lines
and Zay. So we need points.
So
is Mixon or Dobbins
likely, or do we go Dobbins? We don't have a second AFC team, right? I think we go Dobbins.
Correct. Yeah, I think.
And I kind of want to protect. I want to protect this team. Like if we can get this team through round 1, this is an incredible team. Like, Ravens Lions is like one of the more likely Super Bowl matchups, and we have a very good version of it.
Yeah, this is actually kind of a crazy team. Yeah,
this team rocks.
Right.
Shout out to the guy who took Derrick Henry and forgot he took Derrick Henry. That was awesome.
Did he take another Raven?
Oh, he's got like 6 teams accounted for, man. He's got We've got Ravens, we've got Eagles, we've got Bills, we've got Lions, we've got Commanders,
7.
We've got Chiefs, we've got Broncos. He has 7 teams in 8 rounds.
This is art.
Like I will admit that there's been some teams where I have a plan. My plan fails, and then I just try to get $35 back on my $25 in the last 5 rounds. But I don't think that he ever had a plan.
Yeah, the Goff pick here was inspired. Honestly.
Well, once you go Henry AJ Brown, it is Jover. Like it is like if you go Eagle Raven without Hurts or Lamar, like it's kind of night at that point.
Your EV's probably higher taking like 10th round Tanner McKee, right?
Legitimately, yes.
Yeah.
Well, his EV is dead regardless because the maximum number of players he can get in a Super Bowl is 3 in any permutation.
All right. Are we clicking Wicks? Is that happening?
Well, how many more does Wicks predict than likely?
Well, I would think likely for sure is the first pick. Oh, likely's our last pick.
Well, we have one pick. Yeah. Okay.
Likely, absolutely likely.
We talked enough about the Eagles or about the Eagles secondary that I want.
That's incredible. So we just got every single Raven. Is that like except for the big dog? We got Lamar, Andrews,
I think so.
Bateman,
Yeah.
Flowers, and Likely. With Amon-Ra and Laporta.
Everyone but Derrick Henry and Justice Hill. Yeah.
That rocks. Wow. All right.
That's pretty crazy.
That team rips.
Review the team for the audio listeners. Lamar Jackson, David Montgomery, Josh Jacobs, J.K. Dobbins, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Mark Andrews, Rashad Bateman, Sam Laporta, Zay Flowers, Isaiah Likely. Yeah, that's a pretty cracked team, I will say. Yeah, that's
Yeah, I mean, unfortunate that we couldn't light the candle, but still pretty darn good.
Like, I don't know. We got what? Dobbins, 12 picks after ADP. Likely 12, 15 picks after ADP. Flowers, like 20 picks after ADP. We need like Pete's value hound thing going off.
Oh, there you go.
yeah. That
Binking
can
doesn't like our team. Binking said we had a shit team, but that could be.
I think that was
That'll
probably
be the best team.
our highest DV team. The least likely to advance, absolutely. Right. But if you like close your eyes of Ravens Lions matchups, we're probably in the 95th percentile of those combos.
Yeah, that's one of the. I mean, I draft like mostly Ravens teams, and that's easily one of the best Ravens teams that I've drafted in this tournament. Like that team cost $25. I would not sell it for less than 70 or 80.
You probably should. But...
Love it. It's good. Yeah, you definitely should.
I'm probably not 50 though.
Okay, Daniel, you're a human computer. Like what number would you take for that team?
I don't know, probably somewhere in the 50s, maybe 60s, but I do think that's like in terms of EV, a very strong team.
Yeah.
We
I guess just like if my desire was to turn $25 into $50, then I wouldn't put so much of my net worth into playoff best ball. So that's kind of why I'm holding up for a higher number.
Yeah.
We are at the 5 spot for the audio listeners, which is an interesting spot.
It is. Yeah, you just kind of see what
like
falls.
My default here is usually Barkley Mahomes, but we will see what the room wants to do.
If Gibbs is there, that would be nice.
Yeah, Gibbs at 5.
Yeah, Gibbs at 5
safe.
Is, I think, infinitely better than Gibbs at 3 or 4. Your legendary downside is sharply reduced.
All right,
Gibbs is there, so I think we just do that, right?
Yeah,
double buy team.
Might be fun to do a double buy team for the crowd.
Gibbs Amon-Ra, I think, would be more fun.
Well, Gibbs Amon-Ra, I think Gibbs Amon-Ra is we're gonna learn Chargers because the 4 took Henry, so he should take Goff over Mahomes.
Yeah.
Well, Mahomes goes already, so. So
I'm fine.
I think we're learning. Well, we're learning Chargers regardless at this point, right? Or I guess we could take Goff, but I think we just go. So it's either we take Amon-Ra and we're Chargers, or we take Goff and we keep our. Oh well, we can't take Amon-Ra.
Yeah.
So I guess we take. Well.
Yeah.
Is there any reason not to take Goff?
I think it's just Gibbs Goff.
I mean, Jameson and hope Goff comes back, but. And then if not, it's learn Chargers. But
I think we just go Goff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's more likely Jameson comes back than Goff, but
unlike Jameson, Laporta, like
look at that.
Oh,
beautiful.
Man, loser. We probably don't want Gibbs, Goff, Jameson, and Laporta. And I don't think that there's that much of a difference between Jameson and Laporta. Yeah, like the honestly, like the one way this best ball season is gonna pay off for me is that Barkley and Henry were so dominant all season and they owned the libs so hard that now you have all of these people doing these Henry Barkley builds in playoff best ball that are like completely dead because you just can't use one of your first 2 picks in any plausible Super Bowl matchup that involves the quarterback. So it's actually really great.
How hard would it on you, Jacob, if somehow the winning team was a Henry Barkley team?
It would need a QB.
I mean, like a Henry Barkley team will require
what if it's a Henry Barkley
Henry
team
or Barkley not
where...
being in the Super Bowl? That's the problem. Like if you like the way to do it is like you could go Henry, so you go Barkley, Henry, and then you go Chargers, and that's like viable, but like it's just not optimal. Like the way that works out is you go Barkley, Henry, you go Chargers, and AJ Brown has 3 points in the Super Bowl. That's how that team wins, but that's like not a good path. Like you've just like in a Ravens Eagles Super Bowl, a Henry Barkley team will not win. It's not happening.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of what
Well, it's like they
Cinderella,
both have
QB.
40 points. Like that would be, I guess, the way it would happen. It's like they both have 40 points.
Hurts is hurt and they
both
run the
quarterbacks have
Wildcat.
12. Yeah, right. Like Hurts is hurt and they make the Super Bowl anyway. Like I don't know. It's remarkably thin.
Okay, so we can go JMO.
I think so.
We can
Andrews
also,
is gone.
Well, this guy has Amon-Ra.
Oh, fuck.
So,
Shakir is also gone.
I would go
yes.
what? We could play Chiefs Lions Super Bowl with Kelsey, and then whichever line comes back, and then our final 5 picks are just advancement rate prayers.
I like that. I
think that's fun. Let's just do that.
Yeah,
Are you guys Kelsey over worthy every time?
Not every time.
All right.
More than I should, but
I'd probably go 50-50 on those. But I'm probably going to get dunked on when Kelsey comes out in the playoffs and looks like he's drank from the fountain of youth once again.
I would be willing to go with a projected points player here. Like if it's a Chiefs Lions Super Bowl, which is the only way this team's winning money, it's going to be so tough to advance players that we can just like go points now and then go Tim Patrick.
So why don't we take okay, so Puka's gone and Evans is gone. That's annoying.
Lad.
Do we go Aaron Jones?
Yeah.
It's Aaron Jones or Lad, basically.
Or Kyron, if we want to open up.
Yeah, I just don't love it because Puka's already gone. But we can go Kyron. Yeah, we can just if we just don't really care about construction, we can go Kyron.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter.
Because the idea of this is like we get 5 Chiefs and Lions in the Super Bowl, and then we're just making the best battle royale lineup for the wild card weekend, right? Like that's kind of the vibe.
Yep. Speaking of which, if you would like to be drafting any wild card weekend battle royale teams, catch me right here tomorrow night, 8:30. I don't even know. God,
Man.
Yeah, 8:30 Eastern time. Me and Jake Tribby will be live drafting battle royale teams.
There's an argument in the chat over whether Henry and Barkley is optimal. Like, okay, it's not because assuming that there's no injuries, you cannot fill quarterback. So you would need Henry and Barkley to go for like 30 each and both the quarterbacks who, by the way, score a lot of points to do nothing. Like you would need your 4-player lineup to outscore someone else's 5-player lineup. And the other issue is that there are teams that have Hurts and Barkley or Hurts and Henry in the tournament. So whichever one of the higher scoring is of Henry and Barkley, neither of these teams have buys, so they're going to have really high advance rates. Whichever one of Henry or Barkley gets there is going to be paired with Hurts, and that team with Hurts plus one of the running backs is going to project way better than the team with Barkley, Henry, Hurts. And then Chuck Cheese is saying there's some drafts with Barkley, Henry, and Hurts. That's terrifying. I certainly haven't seen that in recent times, but I'll take your word for it that it exists somewhere. I mean, you're completely dead to those teams. It's just, it's really rough.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was like the hypothetical I was searching for 5 minutes ago when I was trying to figure out what would be the team that would own Jacob the hardest if it won. But yeah, I guess that's what you would have to get. That would feel very deflating, I think, if that was a team that took down the tournament. Like, man, I drafted all these teams. We did all this analysis. We thought about this tournament so much, and it's
but a team that has Barkley, Henry,
it's the
and
team
Hurts,
that got 3 first-round picks.
But if a team that has Barkley, Henry, and Hurts wins, they wouldn't have taken Barkley and Henry in their first 2 picks. Like Hurts is not their 3rd-round pick. Like maybe they got Henry as their 3rd-round pick or something. But like, so it's just like the team that has one of those running backs and one of those quarterbacks will then be able to start 3 wide receivers. You will have 2 running backs, but you only have 2 wide receivers.
Is this Bucky?
It's not going to win. I think it's Bucky.
Or do we think Nico Mixon as a 2-pair?
That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Lad already went, so he can't do a Chargers double. So
I will say,
let's just take Laporta first and defer, maybe.
I think it's
the guy on the turn will take Laporta.
Okay,
I think.
that's good.
So because if we take Laporta here, like we want to get our 5. So we take a late Chief, and then we take we could take Nico at this turn. Like Mixon goes in like the 9th or 10th these days.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't actually love Nico this weekend. Like I would say Bucky very likely to outscore. Nope, never mind.
Oh, he goes anywhere.
I would agree,
Yeah.
Bucky in a vacuum, but if we need a 2-player combo as well as hoping to get the second week of points, Nico and Mixon
I think
together.
Nico's going to score. Like I know that the Texans suck, but like Nico as the only option, like I think he still has a very good chance of getting to 20 in a loss.
I think it's Nico here.
Okay. See, you say this, Jacob, but it's actually going to be let me click draft before I say this. It's actually going to be Deontay Johnson on a 70% route share this weekend for the first time.
Dude, I fucking hope, man. That would be great.
That was the most fun DFS punt to write up that I've had in a long time.
I will play Deontay
$3,500 Deontay Johnson. He may not play any snaps, but he has like a 5% chance of destroying the slate.
To go back,
if they would just have the courage to play him.
To go back to the point of like if the Hurts, Henry, Barkley team won, I had a team. The year was the Rams Bengals Super Bowl, where I got Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Cooper Kupp, and one of the starting running backs who were like 3 top 6 ADP players and another that was like a 2nd or 3rd round pick, where I was like extremely confident I had a top 3 finish locked if just the Chiefs beat the Bengals, and I barely min cashed when the Bengals advanced. So,
yeah,
would have been fun.
I remember having a team that was very reliant on OBJ, and I remember being very excited very early, and then wanting to kill myself.
So then, if we take Mixon, is the question, knowing the team has Mixon and Collins, how likely is CJ Stroud to outscore Jaden Daniels?
I would still say unlikely.
Yeah, agreed. Very unlikely.
Like, I think the idea is that CJ Stroud will have 17 fantasy points and all of them go to Mixon and Collins.
But I think the 7-4 team has no QBs and has Terry, if I'm not mistaken. So we will see, but hopefully he waits.
So Daniels is going here.
Oh, damn. Yeah.
I mean,
that's okay.
Could be Bo Nix Sutton.
I like that infinitely more. Yeah.
Okay, so let's do Mixon here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mixon. I think it's Mixon.
So we
Sutton.
have Kyron, Mixon, Collins, and then we do Nix and Sutton.
Yeah.
And then worst case Ontario, we could do like Pickens, and I don't think that Pickens obligates us to take Russ, but we could, I guess.
I think we take Sutton.
We still need one more. We still need one more cheaper lion. But I think we can do that with our last pick.
I just queued up Nuke and Noah Gray.
I'd go Sutton first.
So
no Lions that matter. So yeah, we'll go Sutton.
Wait, or Sutton or Kupp, since we have Kyron.
Kupp
has done nothing for like weeks.
Fair enough. I just thought it was worth throwing out there.
Yeah. Kupp hasn't. I don't think Kupp's exceeded like 12 fantasy points in the last 6 or 7 games.
I am aware of that because every time that Kupp does bad and Puka does well, I just like hit retweet on several of my August tweets.
Man, that was a fun like 1 quarter of discourse on Twitter.
It was not a fun 1 quarter of discourse. It was the most unfun thing that I've ever experienced, and then it was baseless. Literally, Cooper Kupp was, while they played together, Cooper Kupp was outscoring Puka by 0.3 PPR points. It was 5 for 27 versus 4 for 34. And then Puka got hurt. And then Kupp had a great game. And then everyone was like, you fucking morons, drafting Cooper Kupp or Puka Nacua. Who do you think you are? Cooper Kupp was the best. And then he immediately got hurt. And then we were like finger wagged for pointing out that an old, constantly injured guy might get injured. And then they both came back. And then Puka shoved his old washed ass into a corner, like the 5th round pick he always should have been.
Are we Hopkins first?
I was very bitter because every podcast that I went on, and like I had to give the Cooper Cup fucking sucks take, no person was willing to give me the time of the day on that in August. Like it was me and Sam Sherman against the world.
I did enjoy that. You guys were pushing that boulder up that hill.
I felt like Jon Snow. Yeah.
I felt like I was very indifferent to Cooper Cup when he was going a full 2 rounds after Puka. I was like, okay, like this seems fine.
Well, that was the thing that bothered me, is that like I thought he was a bad pick in the late 3rd. And then when he went in the 2nd, then everyone was like, well, like you're clearly a moron for having taken him late 3rd.
First,
like,
right?
Just watch the season. And Ball's Life did own me there. It said, weren't you drafting 30% Waddle? That is true. I was, but I was also drafting 30% Nico. So, you know, win some, you lose some.
I mean, this team has a concept like of a plan.
Yeah.
I mean,
it does.
If it's a Detroit
good
KC Super Bowl, it's just like you need 5 guys that actually put up awesome scores round 1, and then your 5 in the Super Bowl are far less. They're not that much less important than getting 5, because like the points do matter, but it's going to be so tough to get a full roster. Like I think the Chiefs Eagles year, there were less than 10 teams in that final that had full when there was a double bye Super Bowl. So,
and I think like if you're just constructing a DFS lineup, like it's not that hard to see a Bo, Mixon, Kyron, Sutton, Collins team being pretty darn good and an advanced 2 out of 6. Sell myself on that.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Especially with the Bills linebacker unit. I mean, Bo's going to be running wild.
That was a fitting end.
Jacob, you might be upset. You might be upset to learn that I did also write about the Bills linebacker unit today, but it was actually.
Do you think they're good or bad?
It was a pro Marvin Mims argument. Not a
good. So you agree that the Bills linebackers are subpar?
Yeah, I mean, I agree that they funnel everything to the middle of the field.
When 2/3 of the panel has talked about the Buffalo Bills linebackers for different games, mind you, I feel like they have to play us off. Like that is too much time to devote to the linebacker unit.
All right. Well, that's an hour.
That is an hour. I just want to read the team off real quick.
Daniel offered us a firm hour. Yeah, read it out.
Yes, sir. And we do appreciate it. So yeah, just to quickly review the team: Jared Goff, Bo Nix, Jahmyr Gibbs, Kyron Williams, Joe Mixon, Travis Kelce, Sam Laporta, Nico Collins, Cortland Sutton, DeAndre Hopkins. Thanks so much to both of you guys for joining tonight. Daniel, I'll go to you first. Is there anything that you want to shout out? Where can the people find you? Yeah, what do you want to shout out?
Where can we get your Oscar pets?
Yeah, do some work at Leg Up. After I'll be tweeting out every Oscar or film bet I place on Twitter, so @DanielRaz_ to get all of those, as well as NFL draft bets. If Abdul Carter is still 60-1 for the first pick, I think that's a really nice number. For like,
apparently he's having a great game tonight.
Yeah, so. Brugler said he's live for the number 1 pick, so that was like enough for me as someone that doesn't think these quarterbacks are going to be legit prospects in the NFL's eyes.
All right, and Jacob, anything you need to shout out?
Yeah, if you want, I did a primer up on the FFPC playoff challenge today. I have tons of stuff on playoff basketball up on Thinking About Thinking. Then, basically I will then have like a what went right, what went wrong. For instance, Cooper Kupp, good call. Jalen Waddle, bad call. That will come up probably in the coming weeks. And then I'll probably take a break for a while I just like grind college prospect film for a month in the dark. And then I will rise like a phoenix from the ashes in mid-February with dynasty strategy pieces and dynasty rookie content. So excited for my favorite season of the year coming up in the spring.
Yeah, really looking forward to rookie season over on Dynasty Points right here. Again, just to shout out for tomorrow, Jake Tribby and I will be live right here on the Fantasy Points YouTube channel doing wildcard battle royale drafts. That's pretty much it. Thanks for coming in and hanging out with us tonight, guys. Good luck in those final gauntlet drafts if the tournament hasn't closed yet. And have a great night.
What?
What?
Why are you shaking your head?
You're welcome.